This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so this is good. So what we will do really quick, just so we know who we're chatting with tonight, being a part of, and sharing our lives with. Really quick, I'm Dan. I've had MS for actually just celebrated my 21st year on Valentine's Day. So I've had MS for 21 years, and I live in Michigan with her.
And I'm Jennifer, and I've been living with MS for 23 years, and I also live in Michigan with him.
And then we'll just go. Now, seriously, we're like Hollywood Square, so we're on the top row. So, Kim, who are you? Where are you from?
Kim from Des Moines, diagnosed in 2012. Des Moines is in Iowa, by the way.
Boom. Frank.
Frank in Kansas, diagnosed in 1997, and still struggling to beat COVID out of my system.
So we'll zip back to the other side. Hannah, where are you from?
So I'm Hannah from San Antonio, Texas. Been diagnosed since 2017.
Leslie, there is center square. You're like money.
Oh, I actually am like right next to you two. I see two. I see Kim, Frank, Dan, Jennifer, me, and then Hannah, Elizabeth. So sometimes we're all arranged differently on different screens. Yeah. But hey, everyone, Leslie. I'm from Los Angeles, diagnosed in 2007.
Wow.
And Frank, I hope you get better soon. I hope the COVID didn't hit you too hard.
I hope to get better, sir, soon.
Wow. So you're up, Elizabeth, on our clock.
Okay, I'm Elizabeth. I've had MS 18 years. Will be 18 years on March 5th, my dad's birthday. And I am in North Carolina and from North Carolina mostly, but my home address is in California, and I'm back here temporarily with my parents, waiting out the pandemic.
Hey, where in California?
Orange County, California. Actually,
hey, you're right.
Where
You're down south of me. We're neighbors.
Oh, cool. Well, when I get back to California and when we can get together, when we can see people again.
Oh, that'd be awesome. When we're all vaccinated, yes.
Oh, you got your vaccine? Oh, when we are, yeah.
When we are, yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, where in Orange County?
Anaheim.
I spent 20 years in Tustin.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. I
like it in California, but I also like it here because this is a small town and in North Carolina, and get to go hiking in the mountains a lot. That's my happy place.
Well, now we're zipping back then to you, Karen. Where are you from? How long you had MS?
Oh, well, I'm in Oakland, California.
Oh, wow.
And according to my clock, it's 5:40.
Yes, it's earlier.
It's earlier. The sun is still out. And I have primary progressive multiple sclerosis. I've probably had symptoms for 20 years, and it's only been 2 years since I got diagnosed, and it's a pretty rapid descent. So I'm feeling like am I the only person who knows what this is? And it's pretty lonely with that.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yes. We start this, and then Rocio, I don't know if you can hear us. You're up. I can't see her anymore.
And you're on mute.
There you go. There she is.
Yes.
Where are you from? How long have you had MS?
My name is Rocio, or whatever you can pronounce it like. And I'm from Mexico, and I was diagnosed with remitting relapsing multiple sclerosis in 2015.
Nice. We're going to skip you for a second, Rick, so we can get Gina. Gina,
Hi,
where are you from? How long have you had MS?
I am from Greenville, South Carolina, and I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS in June of last year.
Okay.
Very nice. Thanks for coming. Rick,
you.
where are you from?
I'm not sure right now. I don't know which way's up. So I'm the only person on here who doesn't have MS, thank goodness. But I do have something to do with AnCan, and I was largely responsible for getting this group set up and connecting with Dan and Jen and a couple of other moderators who aren't on the call today, and slowly everybody came in, and it is such a pleasure to see 10 people on this call and 2 or 3 new people. And I know that for people like Karen, this group will make a huge difference. It will make a huge difference because everybody appears and everybody understands what you're going through. And who knows what type of relationships you'll build and what type of tips you will pick up. So welcome everybody. I have just dropped in. I usually drop in at the beginning, at the end. I just want to say to Elizabeth, I just saw your email. I just sent you a reply back. I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
I asked you to do a little thing for us in there. I don't know if it made a difference or not, but you'll see. But I'll let you share what you're doing. But I'm very happy for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick.
Okay, I'll
Thank
see you
you. I
guys
really
later.
appreciate it.
Can you explain what AnCan is? Because of course, I'm trying to find out about this, and I'm like, cancer? What's that? Wait a minute, what is going on?
Well, yes, I can. So I had a vision in 2010 that virtual support groups could help a lot of people, because there are a lot of people who, and I had run across some of them at that point, who were too remote to attend a group because they lived in an out of the way place. There were some people who were physically disabled, like some of our people in this group, and they couldn't get to a physical place even if they wanted to. And there were some people who are socially disabled, and they may not have the mindset to walk into a room with a bunch of other people. They may not even want to be seen, but they'd like to listen and maybe be heard if they feel like it. So back then, I thought it would be great if we could create virtual support groups, and it's taken a while. But we started doing this. We started in 2011 with telephone groups, and by 2015, we had these type of groups that you have right now with video chat. We were doing this back then with GoToMeeting when Zoom was still in beta and testing in Silicon Valley. And because of COVID now, everybody knows what a virtual support group is. We feel like we have the best practices. We train our moderators, but when we first started, we were called Answer Cancer Foundation because our background came out of prostate cancer and we wanted to address other cancers. But when we set up, I knew that it could be more than prostate cancer, and I knew it could be more than cancer. But I didn't think it was going to be an issue. Once we reached out to diseases beyond cancer, we couldn't call ourselves Answer Cancer Foundation anymore. So we became AnCan, which had always been our URL. And so hopefully AnCan doesn't scream cancer the way Answer Cancer Foundation does. Is that a good enough explanation, Karen?
Close. I still have questions because there seems to be like a flurry of these things. I went like a few weeks ago, there was the first ever social for multiple sclerosis. And you know, and I went to that, and there was just something. It was just too happy and too whatever. And we're in little groups and we're out of groups, and I was getting uneasy. Like, what is this? And I asked 3 times, where do you get your funding? And they wouldn't answer me. And so then I really got nervous. You know, what is this? You know, and then I looked them up, and they're like a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you know, with seed money and blah 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 blah. So I'm just like, whoa, you know, what is this?
Let me just say, you know, we call ourselves, we say that we're the home of virtual support groups because when we started doing this in 2010, there were no others. There were no others. Nobody was running virtual support groups. And I'm sure we were the first person to innovate video chat technology for virtual support groups. I'm almost certain of that. And now that there's a plethora of them, we still probably have the best practices. Not if our moderators observe them. We do train them, but you know, it's up to the moderators to observe our practices. But we are a very small nonprofit. We have one person who we pay because I just couldn't do everything anymore, and she took 30 hours off of my hands last month and the month before. But unfortunately, she's in Houston, so I've had to cover her stuff this week. We rely on donations, and we apply for grants, and we do get funding from the pharmaceuticals. And we do have good relations with the pharmaceuticals, as Elizabeth will attest to. So, you know, we don't push any products, we don't tout any products, but we believe that the pharmaceuticals are not big, bad, evil companies, and that if you work with them and they work with you, we can make the patient's life better. I've said enough. Okay,
Okay,
get on with your meeting. Okay.
I've asked enough.
I'll see you guys later. I'll pop in at the end of the meeting. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
Hi.
Hanging in there. How's everybody else doing?
Good.
Good.
Hey, we're
You're good.
Do you want to do a quick introduction, Mary?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want to introduce yourself and how long you've been living with MS?
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm Mary Pettigrew. Was diagnosed with MS in 2001. Started off as relapsing MS and now has morphed into secondary progressive. I live in Dallas, Texas, and a week ago today it was 1 degree, and today it was almost 80 degrees. It's crazy. Hannah, you're in San Antonio, right?
Yep, San Antonio. It's just about as hot.
Yeah, I mean, so Hannah and I can talk about the wicked weather and everything that's happened. I mean, I'm a little bit late because I had dinner with Mom. She's almost 80 years old, and she really had a rough time with everything, and it's affected her psyche big time. So I won't elaborate on all that because I mean everybody's seen the news and and we're all, you know, it's just been a mess. But anyway, so I spent the week basically dressed in multiple layers, moving, you know, I cleaned out my closets and or organized things, and then did whatever I could, you know, to occupy my, you know, just to keep the stress away. But surprisingly, I was able to kind of maintain my own psyche during this time. But yeah, the whole MS ride has been definitely an interesting journey. And you know, I've it's kind of a preface into what I'm about to say. I guess this was literally 2 days before the winter weather came through. I got my second COVID vaccine. It was through Pfizer. And so therefore, so that's been a week and a half, I guess. So probably in about 4 or 5 weeks, I'll start Kesimpta. So that's the first drug that for MS that I will have tried. I've been on 7 prior to this, so this is the first one I will have tried in 3 years. So it's a big step, but I'm ready for it. So we'll see.
Wow.
I'm so glad it worked out with your vaccination and you were able to get it before the bad weather hit, so you can stay on time.
Elizabeth, yeah, I mean it's like, well, they knew the bad weather was coming in, and so where I went, they had to shut down a couple of the vaccination facilities and shoved everybody to where I was getting mine. And the first one I got, it was just like boom, I was in, I was out, you know, had my appointment. It took maybe a total of 30 minutes, even including the 15-minute observation period. The second time they had like, and everybody obviously still had appointments, but they had to pull. Moderna people were over here, Pfizer people were over here, no place to sit. I didn't bring a cane or anything. So it was a little bit more traumatic, but side effects wise, not a problem. I mean, you know, it was night and day even compared to getting just a simple flu shot. It was easy. I feel fine about it. And just long story short, it's been interesting that, you know, I've seen a lot of other people posting online in different, you know, how it varies state by state, where MS is not considered part of the you know, the first group to be able to get theirs. And I said, well, I got mine. Apparently Texas has a different, you know, outlook as far as the whole thing. I even met a couple other people with MS when I was in the waiting area after I got my vaccine, because they overheard me talking to somebody. So people in Texas are getting theirs, and it's just heartbreaking that in other places, that is for those who want to get theirs. You know, not everybody is on board with that yet, and maybe they won't be, but that's their decision, and there could be other circumstances that keep them from it. But anyway, it's done, so that's a good thing. Phew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Phew. Weight lifted off your shoulders, I'm sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Frank, it is so good to see you here. I've been offline for a little bit, but I know you've been through a really hard time.
It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge, but I'm here. You can't, no little bug's gonna keep me down. Okay? You can kick me to the curb, but you can't kick me into the gutter. Okay?
You're a tough cookie.
I love hearing that, Frank.
It's interesting. I mean, it's just been, I would have never thought that this was going to happen to me. I didn't see this coming. And I don't wish it on anybody. That's all I can say. I mean, when the doctor says, well, your blood pressure's 80/40, I went, that's not good.
Mm-mm.
You know, and your oxygen's at 80%. Excuse me? Yeah, it's a shock. It's a real shock to get slapped in the face like that. I'm normal. Everything's normal now. Let's just leave it where it is.
And just for Gina and for Karen, Frank had COVID. So I know that your first time coming to the meeting, some of us know each other and know the story, but I just wanted to fill you in, especially you, Gina, because you're not seeing us on camera to see Frank. So, yes.
Okay, I actually see you guys.
Oh.
So what am I doing wrong?
Have you got a?
We can't see you.
We can see you. So you're not probably, maybe your camera is not on.
I'm
Gina,
sorry, this is the first time I've done this, so bear with me.
Oh no,
are you using a computer or your phone?
Tablet.
Okay,
iPad.
good. Okay, can you kind of scroll like
Where it says share my webcam?
Either that, yeah, do that.
Yay!
There you are. Gina.
Hi. Hey. Nice to be seen.
Nice to see you.
So then I guess the question I always ask them, like, what, for people, I mean, this is what, the 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I said, wow, 23rd. I mean, so you're just like, okay, the 23rd's coming. We're having the meeting because I want to talk about this. What do you want to talk about? What do you have questions about? What can we answer, ask, share, discuss? Leslie.
Thank you. Yes, I have been dealing with the tingling in my feet. And I was wondering, I looked online for any relief and I can't find anything. So I thought I will talk to the people. Does anybody have any experience with how to help it disappear?
Oh, I sure wish I had an answer. I've had it in my feet for 2 years. It came with my last relapse in 2018, and it came with partial numbness too. So before I used to have it, it'd come on every once in a while and then it'd go away in different parts of the body, but it came in my feet, legs, hands, and arms. My hands and arms less, and now it's come into my head too. And I just try to cope with it. I find that emotional freedom tapping is helpful to just kind of not so much that I haven't found anything to make it go away, but to help me deal with it better.
But how do you deal with it? Because I can't sleep.
Oh
It's
no.
just so disturbing.
Oh no.
Yeah. How do you say you emotionally deal with it?
It's called emotional freedom tapping, and I'll look for my link and I'll share it in the tab.
Okay.
There's some videos and it's like you start up at the top of your head and you say something like, these numb feelings that I'm feeling. I did a workshop a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
These numb feelings in my legs, and then you go to your eyebrows and say these numb sensations in my legs, and then you go to your temples, these numb sensations, and you describe them and whatever language you want to use, and then you go here to above your lip and numb sensations in my legs and my feet, these numb tingly sensations in my legs and feet, and then you go here to your chest and you describe them and just say these numb sensations, and then you go over to your the thumb and you tap by the thumbnail and you can say it out loud or you can think it. Numb sensations, these tingling sensations in my feet and legs, numb sensations in feet and legs, and tingling sensation feet and legs, and all your fingers, and then you end here and you spend a little bit longer time just describing what you're feeling here, and then you just do it however many times you want. I'll find some videos. I can find the video of the workshop that I did on it. It was a woman who has MS and trains in this tapping, and it was focused more on pain, but tingling sensations are kind of the same nerve receptors, I think, as pain sensations, and so it just.
Yeah, I would
know
appreciate that. Yeah.
It can be so just crawling, and sometimes these feelings that have been coming in my head, like I'll be falling asleep and then I'll get another one and it feels like an ant or something is crawling on me, or and it can be really it can be really distracting and hard when different feelings keep you from sleeping because they'll change and they'll morph.
Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate any advice because I've
Leslie,
tried
I
like.
have something to share.
Sorry. Well,
Yeah,
but I
I
just
have
want to say, but Elizabeth, have you talked with your doctor about it?
I have well, it was was a brainstem and my lesion that caused the ones in my legs and my feet. Unfortunately, I'm away from my neurologist now, and I'm keeping in email contact with her.
Yeah.
I think that this is residual from the brainstem, because I read that it can also cause numbness and tingling in the head.
Did your doctor suggest a steroid treatment if it's
No,
a relapse? No.
actually, at the time, she didn't want me to take steroids. She just wanted me to start on Ocrevus as soon as possible. And unfortunately, that didn't make the feelings go away. But
Yeah.
you know, it could be my feelings are less severe than yours, and that's why I'm able to. You know, we're all different, and it could be.
No.
How long have your feelings been going on? Have you called your neurologist yet?
No, because now last night it was really bad, and I took a gabapentin, hoping I would sleep, and it does seem to get worse, later in the day. And then I thought, I've had this for a while now. I'm trying to think how long, because you know how you just ignore it at first,
Yeah.
and, oh, it'll go away, and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And now I don't know, it might be weeks. And they say, oh, what if it lasts longer than 48 hours or something? Well, it's definitely lasted longer than 48 hours. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just so I'm just, I'm so stressed out dealing with all this other life, that's coming at me, and I know they say stress makes MS worse, but I can't seem to control much of anything these days.
I see. I got you, Mary, but I see Karen, you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, I just I'm sitting crooked because, it's just like you don't have enough shit going on. And then yesterday I was showing my doctor on a video appointment. I've had tingling for quite a few years, little like tingling and heat, and I also have paralysis that's been just taken over me on my right side. And then I got COVID toes, which is just like this weird thing on my toes. And I just found out yesterday that I tested that it's been since COVID, people have been noticing like these weird things on toes. But I actually had the blood, and I didn't have the antigen for it. But my right foot now, but I've had this tingling for like, I don't know, since 2014. I'd been actively reporting symptoms to my doctor, and it was just like, oh, you have anxiety. It's like, well, yeah, because nobody's paying attention to my symptoms. Like, that'll cause anxiety. It's just like one epic fail after another. And my doctor retired, and I have this new to me primary, not neurologist, and she's the first person who said, I think it's neurological. I was like, what's wrong with me? So she's now saying, that's why I'm sitting like this. Oh, you have to keep your foot elevated. It's like, oh, great. I've got paralysis, and now I got to walk around on one foot raised in the air. So I'm sitting with my foot up because my foot started getting blue. I don't know that that's what's going on with you or is going to even happen with you, but I'm just saying I've had this tingling, and my foot is like blue because I can't walk too much anymore. And she's like, try elevating it. So I took a nap before this session because I was tired, and I had it elevated on pillows. And I don't know. I mean, it's worth a try.
Does it improve the feeling or the color at all?
Well, it's new. I only, I mean, she told me yesterday, and then I just took a nap, literally, to set the clock so I can come to the meeting. And I'm sitting here going, hey, let me put my foot up, So I don't know, actually, yeah.
Does the elevation help
Worse of it might be
with the
something.
tingling?
It's
Does it help but does elevation help it not tingle?
Well, I'm doing this right now, and I'm going,
right now.
feel
I
this
don't know.
tingling.
I'm already in the recliner. I don't know how to elevate my foot.
Well, your tingle might not be my tingle, It's just
might not be.
I mean, because at this point it's poor circulation, whereas before, in 2014 when I was reporting it, I didn't even it just every symptom was ignored. So it was just like, why? Just like you, why bother talking about it? it's, you know, it makes you sound crazy. Or I remember I had like this weird, like itchy thing, you know,
Yeah.
and just, you know, it just, and I went to the dermatologist, and that's like before I even entered my head that I might have MS or anything. And she said, no, there's nothing there. It's just like sometimes people have that.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
it. I call it a phantom itch because
Yeah,
it's always it's on my back in the same spot,
yeah,
and
right.
there's
I know.
nothing
It's like,
there.
what? That's
Yeah,
at
I
least
call it my
some
phantom itch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
used to
what,
get
you had something, Mary. You had your hand up too.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, um, someday, the tingling stuff, I think, kind of going back to what Elizabeth and some of the others have been saying, like Elizabeth earlier was saying that you kind of get used. You've had the condition so long, you kind of get used to it. And I think that's what the main thing. I still have my on my hands, my these three fingers on both hands, my the three end fingers, they've been, ever since I was first diagnosed, I had numbness and tingling in the hands, and then from my torso all the way down. What lingered was always my three fingers. I don't even, just talking about it now making me go, oh yeah, I still have this. Now I'm still, I can still do what I need to do. Sometimes I have the dropsies if something gets numb. And I have Raynaud syndrome, where you lose the circulation and your fingers turn white, if you hold something cold. But my left foot, I'm noticing as the years go by, my left foot is completely numb, and the toes, I can barely even spread the toes apart, and it gets tingly. But the tingling and the numbness it's kind of like an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And Leslie, like you were saying, stress, Karen, you
Yeah.
mentioned stress. Stress definitely does, it doesn't bring on a flare up or an exacerbation. It exacerbates your symptoms, though. I mean, because it's like, think about what stress does to us. We're like, well, that's what your body's doing too. So anything that you've got going on is going to make it go, ah. But also circulation wise, I sometimes deal with if I've been standing, like if I'm doing like a load of dishes or laundry or something, if I've been standing, or usually in the summertime, I'll deal with edema, the swelling, like from the middle calf down to my feet, where everything gets kind of purple and swollen, purple and red and swollen. What my favorite thing to do, and this goes back to Karen, as far as elevating your feet, a lot of people with MS deal with the swelling situation. I use ACE bandages, and I'll wrap it as if my ankle has been sprained. I mean, I'll wrap it like from the mid calf across my foot, and then I'll elevate it, and I'll leave it wrapped, not too tight. And then after about maybe 20 minutes, I'll unwrap it and I'll wiggle my toes. And if there's still some swelling, I will rewrap again, keep them elevated. And it really, really helps. I don't know if it'll do anything for the tingling, but for circulation purposes, it's really kind of nice. And then for extra, if you're having some pain issues, on top of those bandages, you can put maybe some ice packs or whatever. But for extreme situations, it kind of helps. And then I'm able to go to sleep pretty well. But long story short, I think, kind of like what Elizabeth was saying, I think I've just gotten used to these weird numb and tingle things as they come and go. So, and as far as taking any sort of medication for it, no, no, unless there's like ongoing chronic neuropathy, trigeminal neuralgia, pain in your face and your teeth and your eyes, that might be different, to where there's like gabapentin and Lyrica and Tegretol. There are meds out there for chronic nerve pain, and I'm not on those, so I don't know if that helps or not, but it's just just something that I've gotten used to, I suppose.
I'm just
Well,
going to
yes,
add, people
yeah.
ask, since you asked, I just checked and I took my sock off and my foot's not red. And and it's just, I mean, it's just new to try it, that I took a nap, I came in here, and it's like, oh, people that But to piggyback on what Mary said, because my doctor yesterday, she's not my neurologist, but she's awesome anyway. She said, you know, you might need to put on TED hose, which are really hard to put on. They're just a real. So the ACE bandage makes a lot. I said, oh great, with a paralyzed hand, yeah, put on TED hose. So the ACE bandage thing, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. You know,
Yeah,
and
I mean, pretend that like this. I'm trying to find my camera here. Pretend that this is my foot, you know, and then here's like my calf. So I just basically start like as if these were my toes. Oh, my camera. So I keep start the bandage here and wrap and wrap and wrap, you know, to here. But you have to crisscross it and then attach it. And like I said, do it until you feel like it's been long enough. I usually do about 20 minutes, and then if that one just 20-minute thing after unwrapping it, if it's not good enough, move your toes around, maybe get move your muscles, and then rewrap it. Try it again. It just is so nice for me, and I've recommended it to a couple other friends too, especially when you've got swelling and redness and purple stuff. It kind of helps. So anyway, and it's something that you can control. I've tried the compression socks and hoses. That just feels even more uncomfortable because of the tightness. But
And see, that's where, Mary, you and I are different. Granted, I'm very spoiled because I have a husband, because I can't put on my TED hose myself. But Dan puts my TED hose on every day. And when I don't wear them, I feel even more miserable. So I would recommend, like Mary was saying, the ACE bandages or the compression socks if you can find someone who can help you put them on. It really helps.
I mean, I can
Yeah.
Leslie, another thing that I do, and I forget sometimes to mention it, but it's something I started after the numbness started, and it doesn't really do anything to fix it, but I do dry brushing. I take a brush, it's just, you can get them at the drugstore or whatever, a dry brush, and instead of using it while you're showering and getting it wet with the soap and stuff, you use it before you shower. And I start at my feet, and you kind of just massage and rub everywhere with it up towards your heart. And then when you get to your heart level, then you kind of go down from the neck to the heart, every place that you can reach. And that, it feels really therapeutic for me on my feet, because it helps me. It just concentrating on giving my feet something nice to feel.
Yes, I mean,
it's really
that's
therapeutic.
no, I understand. Yeah, I have some compression socks from when I would travel, flying, but that when you mention that dry brush, it's like, yeah, I'm thinking if my feet are getting the wrong message, I would like to maybe send it a different message. So maybe doing something, wrapping, brushing. I'll try all of these. I appreciate everyone sharing, because I got to do something. It's like I want to just give me some steroids, knock this thing out. I mean, as wonderful as steroids are, they're terrible, but yeah.
Has it made it harder to move around or walk at all? Is there numbness with the tingling, or?
No, fortunately, no. It just makes, I'm trying to struggle, we're stuck at home, trying to rest. I have to rest every afternoon due to the fatigue. I can't rest. I'm lying there, and
you're annoying. You're
I can't rest. I can't sleep. I can't. Oh, yeah.
Well, I see your hands up, Frank. What you got?
Well, I was going to ask Gina how's MS treating her?
Well, when I first was diagnosed, I had no symptoms. Well, I take that back. A couple years ago, I think I was misdiagnosed. They had diagnosed me for Raynaud's, but I didn't have any effect with the cold weather or anything cold. Nothing changed or anything. So about 2016, I got optic neuritis. And so in my left eye, had no clue, thought I was going to go blind. Went to emergency ophthalmologist, did MRI for lesions. Didn't see any lesions. Then a couple years later, did another MRI. This time, the ophthalmologist said, be careful with this optic neuritis, that it is a sign of MS. And lo and behold, he was right. And I went to the hospital and they thought I was having a stroke. I was not having a stroke, but that's when they found the lesions. There's 5 on the brain and 1 on my spinal cord in my neck. And couple months later, that's when I started to really, my legs started really to give away with me. And then from there, it sort of went to a downhill spiral. I got weakness in my legs. I got tingling. I got numbing. I got the brain fog. I got the headaches, forgetfulness, you name it, it was there. And big bowel problem, like my bladder was going and still is. So it's been a journey, but my goal is that I try my best not to be in a wheelchair. I'm trying to keep as strong as I can. I'm doing physical therapy. I was doing it twice a week. I'm having to do it 1 time a week, and I swim once a week. Swimming helps a lot for me, and I wish I can find something government-wise that would help with a pool or something for that. If y'all know of anything, let me know, because that right there is like treatment in itself. So, and I'm on some medicine called Tecfidera. I take it twice a day. It does have a little bit of kind of side effect to it, that it makes me flush, and I get a temperature for about 20 minutes, and I'll get really hot on my chest, and it works up to my head. And I would time it, because I called the neurologist about this, and I did let him know, and he said, if it's over 20 minutes, come to the doctor, come to see me. But it hadn't been over 20 minutes, so it has proved to be working. Everything has frozen where it's supposed to freeze. But overall, it's been quite a journey, to say the least.
Gina, can I ask you with the Tecfidera? That's one of the ones that I took several years ago, and in conjunction with your bowel issues. Were your bowel issues a part of your MS situation prior to Tecfidera, or did they kick in when you started taking that?
It kicked in when I started taking that.
Okay, all right. That's same for me, and same thing with upper GI too. In fact, after Tecfidera, they switched me to Aubagio, which was even worse. And so from that day forward to this day, I've got issues that they're. In fact, I've got a telehealth appointment with my GI doctor Friday. But
Okay.
so the GI issues, watch that if you need to. If you need to even with like acid reflux. Just kind of keep an eye on that, and if things worsen, instead of talking about it with your neurologist, you might want to see a GI doctor that maybe is familiar with MS, and especially because that medication, it sent me, I know so many people that do extremely awesome on it, just like any drug. Some people do amazing, some people just don't. I just had to ask that because that's when mine started with Tecfidera and Aubagio. My GI system went, haywire, but
Okay.
Yeah. So
but that's my story.
It's a story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're quiet.
Oh, I
Because
do
we're
want to
talking
mention
about
I do want
our
to.
favorite topic, bowel and bladder issues.
Well, yeah, we probably all have a lot we could say on bowel and bladder issues.
This is a
I
good
would.
group.
Oh, sorry, Frank.
This is a good
Going
group.
to.
Bowel and bladder issues. I mean, comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I noticed they kind of come and go. My bladder has been amazing for the last month, and so I mean amazing to where usually it's like that's what wakes me up first thing in the morning. It's like race to the bathroom, and I go like I just like for a couple tablespoons, and then I'm so tired I want to crawl back in bed, and it's like 2 minutes later, nope, got to run back in there. So it's like takes forever for you to completely eliminate,
Yep.
and or it comes on, especially in the heat of the summer. It just comes out of nowhere, and you just never know. But one last comment about the bowel thing, and again going back to stress. The bowel has its own little brain, and it responds to stress in a really, really bad, really, really messy way. I'll just put it that way. So just kind of keep that in mind with what your gut's going to do with stress. It's not pretty. So a whole nother reason to kind of keep your anxiety and your stress in check as best as possible. It's easier said than done. That's for sure.
Well,
Elizabeth,
speaking of stress, I was just like with Rocio, you last time you were dealing with a lot with school and everything. How's everything going down in Mexico?
Well, things are getting easier. I was removed from the emergency department because that's the place where we were getting all the COVID patients. And so they removed me from that service, that department, and it doesn't matter, even though I still see some patients with COVID, but the hospital is always full. There's patients getting in, patients getting out, and new patients getting in, and that means that people just don't quite get it yet. And well, there's also a part where I'm at ease, but now it comes a part. I wanted to ask you all, Frank, also, what was your experience, or still is your experience dealing with COVID, and what vaccines have you gotten? And as Mary said, she had a great experience. And in my case, I don't want to say the word, but just we don't trust our government, and they are doing the things in a very tricky way. And I'm not sure I'll be getting a vaccine anytime soon. And if I do, I'm not sure if I'll get a second dose. So it will all for nothing. So I don't know. But I want to hear your experiences. I actually was really eager to hear that.
well, my experiences, Rocio, is what you're asking. In all honesty, I actually got the COVID in the outpatient clinic at the hospital because I was doing some solumedrol infusions, and somehow, some way, I got close to somebody that was asymptomatic, and I picked up the COVID. I mean, now that I've got the antibodies, I'm in no hurry to get the shot. I mean, why? If I'm immune to it for the time being, I'm going to wait. And I'll be honest with you, I've never been a big believer in the shot myself, but that's my opinion. I am not. I've always been a little concerned about the way the vaccine has been developed. That's my decision. I am not trying to push that on anybody at all. We all have to make our own decisions on it. But mine goes back to my experience with Tysabri way back when Tysabri was brand new, and some people, well, one person in particular died as a result of being put on Tysabri. And it kind of came out of nowhere and they pulled it off the market for a while. So I'm a little bit cautious, but it's me. It has been a very long ordeal with COVID. My girlfriend, I'll be honest with you, was asymptomatic. I gave it to her. She had no symptoms whatsoever. She charged right through it. She's absolutely fine. I have had nothing but problems with it. I don't know. It's a luck of the draw.
And I imagine there's a certain amount of gender. I think from things I've heard that plays a little bit of a difference. And speaking of gender, I don't want to ignore Karen put something about, like, we were talking a little bit about bladder, and I know that I think it would be really interesting if we could arrange potentially like a meeting or a program. I don't know if any of you would be interested, where we talk about bladder, because I think that could really be something where we can all share a lot. And I don't know if it would be like gender based or just free for all talking about bladder. I don't know. What do you think, Dan? What do you think, Frank?
I got bladder issue.
I mean,
Yeah. Where
we've all got it. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
The tibial nerve stimulation, though, it is in gyno-urology. So, ladies, it's not for the men.
Yeah. But I just think, and I know Rick is listening, maybe if we could put together some sort of program to focus on urological issues with multiple sclerosis, I think that would be very well attended. And I think that would be something for our community that we could all benefit.
I think that's a great idea, and I think it needs to be men and women. So women need to understand what men go through, because I think most of us hear about the women and their bladder, dribbling, wearing Depends, and all that stuff. We don't hear enough about what the men go through, and I think that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks, Mary.
And also fecal urgency, because I remember, I've had symptoms for 20 years and they were always ignored. In 2014, I was like, my butt is flaccid. I look like I had a stroke. I have foot drop, like, hello, have you thought about, I fall every year, why am I falling? I like to swim. I like to dance. Why, I'm not an athlete. And so I know I mentioned it to my doctor, who was extremely well respected. I went to the rehab medicine doctor. She goes, really, Ted Tsukiyama? I wanted him to be my doctor. Like, he's a doctor's doctor. And I said, when I gotta go, I gotta go. And I was like 2014, and he goes, oh, you have anxiety. And it's like, I'm Jewish. I'm from New York. What the hell? But I'm like much calmer than I've ever been my entire life. So why now? And I'm not a somatic person. I wasn't, and I didn't have GI symptoms. So, I got shut down, and then I just could only articulate it as when I gotta go, I gotta go. Now I go, no, it's fecal urgency, and it keeps escalating. So the two together.
Yep.
I have benefited greatly from, I did it like probably about 12 years ago, but I went to a physical therapist for bladder issues, and they have pelvic floor training, and they do it for both men and women, and you get hooked up to a biofeedback machine, and they put it on your abdomen and your thighs, and then it's a little invasive, well, not invasive, but your personal space is, because then they put it in between both your butt cheeks, and you learn how to control your Kegel muscles, which is something that, you know, I hadn't known anything about. I was in my early 20s, and it was just really, really helpful because I was at my wit's end. I would get up to go to the bathroom about 6 or 7 times before I could fall asleep at night. And it would, like you said, Mary, it'd be just, you know, a little bit, and then nothing, there would be nothing else there. And I was driving myself crazy, trying to figure it out, but it helps so much to go to a physical therapist. And it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit intimidating to get hooked up to machines sometimes, but it was really, really helpful.
Well, yeah. In fact, my urologist mentioned that opportunity as well, and that's something that I'm going to look into. You know, like I said, my bladder has been. It's like, you know, it's been in a good situation now, but I know that's going to be short term. It's just like, you know, things just kind of ebb and flow. No pun intended, flow. But also women, if you've had a hysterectomy, your bladder, which I had mine, I think I was 35, 37, I can't remember. It was because of endometriosis issues. But when you have a hysterectomy, your bladder drops down, and it's down low, and so much lower to where it kind of changes the pressure of it kind of changes the urgency issues too. So, and obviously that's not an MS thing, but it kind of exacerbates the problems. And there's been time when I know I have to go, like if I was sitting here right now and I have to go, and if I ran to the bathroom and then I sit there and nothing happens, I do this thing. My neurologist doesn't really like it that I do this, but I still do it. I take my hands and I kind of push on my lower. Elizabeth's nodding her head.
Yeah.
I push down. In fact, if I push down now, I can feel the urgency that I have to go, which is really interesting. So I push down. It's kind of like under your gut, like right above the pelvic bone, and that's where because that's where my bladder is. And so but then I breathe. It's like take an inhale and then I exhale, and then because I can't bear down and like push to make the pee come out. But this kind of helps at least get the dribbling going. So it's just kind of weird, the little tricks that we kind of figure out what to do. So
I do the massaging all the time too. Like at the end to make sure everything has gone out. I like it's like getting all the ketchup out of the ketchup bottle.
It's like
That's a good way to put it.
That is good.
That's
That
exactly right.
brings me to another point, actually. I had some really terrible constipation issues, actually, for the longest time. And I actually went to physical therapy for constipation, for bladder issues, for other problems I was having, pelvic floor dysfunction. And so she actually taught me a certain massage that you can do on your abdomen, just in case anybody has any of those constipation issues too. And that massage was just a total game changer for me. Because it, like, she taught me to like use my right hand to like massage like the side of my, or the bottom of my abdomen one direction, and then you do another one where you're going down in the same way that you mentioned, Mary, for your bladder. And it helps tremendously because my constipation problems were through the roof. Like I would drink water like crazy. I was eating well, eating plenty of roughage. Did not help me one bit. So
you had to resort to laxatives?
I think I was doing Miralax. But the Miralax, of course, it takes days, and I still needed that. It takes days to kick in, and I needed that. Yeah, that massage was definitely like used in conjunction with that.
I'm going to send you a message because I need to know about this. That is excellent information. I'll message you.
Yeah, of course. I would not mind doing like I would not mind doing like a video if you needed that too. So no worries.
That'd be great.
My doctor would say, I don't have the problem now, but you know, I'd ask her, because my doctor, she's an osteopath, my primary, and she's just more holistic, you know. I mean, I go, how can you stand to work in like traditional medicine? Because she does body work on me and things like that. But she said, well, what you need? I said, I'm kind of embarrassed, you know, I have to talk about pee and poo. She goes, that's fine. And she said, you need mush and push. So it kind of
Yeah.
goes with what you're saying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what? We all pee and poo, so there you go.
Or some of us don't, or we do too much. The mush
There's
and push is like, okay, so the push thing, you know, because I had enough mush. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
no,
don't know if you guys, oh,
oh, it's
I
okay.
don't
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I don't know guys, if you guys have heard of Kathy Reagan Young. She does the FUMS Now podcast, and she has a book. I'm trying to remember the title. It's the best title. It's Two Pea Brains with Potty Mouths Talking Shit About MS. And it's available. The digital book is available for purchase on her site, and she does it with a is her friend. I can't remember if she's a urologist or a therapist, but she deals with bladder issues, bladder and bowel issues, and it's a pretty good read. And
I follow her on Facebook.
yeah,
Fun.
Posts, yeah.
it's fun.
if you have these
She's
kind of
such-
resources, can you put them in the chat? Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty like by myself, as weird as it is in Oakland, but
Yeah, she's a nice lady. She was out in California one time at one of the neurologist lecture things, and I just happened to run into her and chat with her, and then found out she lived some other state. But
Yeah, she's in
You guys
Virginia.
have North Carolina, no, Virginia.
Virginia.
Uh-huh.
Virginia.
yeah.
That's interesting, Elizabeth, because you said that, and you can't see it, but as we were talking bladder issues and stuff, and I wrote Kathy Reagan Young's name on my thing, because I knew she wrote that book, and so yeah.
And
She's fun. She's hysterical. She's a powerhouse in this community. She's out there all the time, and what's the word? Not optimistic. She's
Upbeat.
she's upbeat. She makes you inspiring. She's inspiring, makes you motivated. She's funny, and but she's she's real. She what you see is what you get. She's a hoot. I love her.
Yeah, she's also the guide for MS Healthline, and she got me involved. She invited me to be an ambassador to MS Healthline a couple of years ago, and it was like such an honor to me to be able to be involved in that, because that chat app was such a help to me. And they do live chats every day, not every day,
Almost
Sunday through Thursday.
Yeah.
At 4 p.m. my time, and on Sunday 7 p.m. my time, Eastern time.
so there are a lot of resources out there, and it's good to hear us talk about Kathy and Healthline and just some of the different things. So I think that's good. So Gina, not to single you out, but how are you doing? Is there any specific question that you wanted to?
Before we I got one of her face masks.
Leslie, Leslie, I
she
love
sells
that.
these. Yeah, she sells these on the site, but I told her the printing's too big because when I put it on my face, like all you see is the MS. But my friend was worried all you see was the FU. But yeah, I told her make it smaller, make it print smaller next time. Okay, sorry.
I have a small face too, and I have problems with mass gapping.
Yeah, well, it's where the folds are. It's
okay.
Yeah, at the very, very end. So I think that she has to work on it. This was like the very first
Yeah.
Yeah, first ones, but I love it. Yeah.
I have one of her coffee mugs, and I have to put it away when Mom comes over. She's like, "F you! What's that all about?" I'm like, like
I know
Mom,
something.
just ignore
Yeah,
it.
my friend's son something, and I had, yeah, all I did was when I said FUMS, and he goes, "What's that?" And I was like, MS. Oh, okay, he got it. Yeah.
I have a T-shirt that someone, I can't remember who, years ago. It's a T-shirt that says "MS is my bitch," and I had that on. I mean, again, I wear basically pajamas when I'm in my house doing whatever. And so if Mom were to pop over, of course, again, she saw me wearing that. She's like, "I do not think that's appropriate." I'm like, "Mom, I'm in my house. I can wear whatever I want." So
Yeah. And you have MS, so you could tell everybody else to F off. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Oh, but my neighbor's initials are MS, and her company name is MS something, and it's like, oh no, and she doesn't know I have MS, so she can't see me wearing an FUMS.
Well, it could be FU Mississippi. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, right, or Ms. Yeah, Ms. something.
Yeah, Ms.
Mary, you have to find this song, A Chat with Your Mother. Do you know that song? It's like Peter and Lou Berryman, and they're like, we sit down to have a chat. It's F word this and F word that. I can't believe da. To have a chat with your mother. Like it's also known as a chat with your mother, because I don't want to hear you use that F word with your mother.
I'm writing it down because that will be great.
Peter and Lou Berryman. It's an old song, I mean, I'm from New York, so it's in our lexicon.
We should have a sing-along one of these days. You guys have some great pipes.
Yeah, I would love to sing with someone, but that FUMS should be like a rap song or something, because they'd be rapping those words all the time. Yeah. Who wants to sing? Sorry, who is it wants to sing?
I would. I used to be a soprano, but now my voice has changed. I can still do a little something, but it's more like an alto these days. But
I'm soprano. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well,
but I'm just learning. I'm just learning to sing. So
yeah.
Good.
Oh, great.
That's great therapy. Let's do it. Let's do an AnCan MS song. I'm serious. Let's put that on the back burner, and everybody kind of come together with some lyrics and some music, and let's see what we can do. I think it's fun.
Okay, the only problem is on these sites, we're out of sync. When we sing, it's out of sync.
There's a way
I
to do
sing
it
all the time. I sing all the time. That's my best medicine. My third grade report card said, likes to sing. And I was like, I do. I found that when I was in my 40s. And then it took me like another 15 years to own the next part. It's like, likes to lead the class in song. I do. So I sing a lot online. I mean, there's ways to make it work. But yeah, we can't all sing together. But
I know we can land on Mars, but we can't make a Zoom that syncs, which blows my mind. Yeah.
What's going on, Kim? I haven't heard from you tonight.
It's quiet. Yeah.
I think we need to send her a wake-up call.
I'm just really tired today.
Oh.
I'm just having I'm like like batting my eyes. Like I keep closing. Like, nah, just stay away. No, I'm listening. I'm listening to everything. So just really tired. I had to finally lay down. I've been in bed most of the afternoon, not asleep, but just laying down because I'm so tired today.
You have to rest your eyes. Your eyes are a muscle. You have to rest your eyes.
So nothing super exciting here. Just having a tiring day. And we had the weather warmed up today here, early 50s, so I'm pretty sure I have bats in my attic, so I'm pretty sure they're going to wake me up tonight when I'm trying to sleep. So they'll probably be out of hibernation tonight.
We've had a 90-degree swing this week.
Wow. Hey, Frank, what did the weather do to you guys? Did you have any snow, ice, or any stuff in Kansas?
We've had snow on the ground for the past month. And it finally just all went away in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
It was down to minus 23.
Oh,
Okay. You know,
oh,
what it doesn't make any difference. When it gets that cold, it doesn't make any difference. You
well,
know, it's minus
here,
23 to 75 today.
well, as Hannah
75.
knows, in
Wow.
Texas has, I don't know if y'all know, but Texas has its own, we're like a little island in the United States. We have our own grid. Okay. And so we can't borrow power from the west. We can't borrow power from the north or the east. And our infrastructure, whether it's, 20 degrees, 0 degrees, -0, our system, I mean, we were seconds or minutes away from complete and utter failure. And it's, I mean, the friends and family that I've got in the area, it's horrendous. And so therefore with the temperatures, yeah, we can deal with it if we have the infrastructure. I mean, I've got some friends that do live up, up in the north area and that didn't really understand what was going on here and why. And that's the thing. We're all asking why, how did this happen? Because, you look at, like Frank, -20, you go up, way north to Michigan, you go to Canada and they're like in the -30s. And they have they have their supplies. This was uncalled for in so many different ways. That's all. Okay, I could gripe on and on about this, but that's going to be my own little gripe towards officials. I'll leave that for another date.
They did write about it in the New York Times. Not that I read it, but somebody forwarded it to me and said, well, why in New York do their turbines can tolerate ice? So.
Well, and see, the turbines are only 20 to 25% of our energy. The rest is nuclear, coal, and gas, natural gas. And so that's the thing. There's a lot of different information floating around out there, but and a lot of finger pointing going on everywhere. It's been interesting. So
Depends upon how you want to spin it. It all depends upon how you want to spin it. The fossil fuel folks are going to blame the new energy regime. The new energy regime is going to blame the fossil fuel folks. They're going to point at each other. I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah.
It'll all work out sooner or later.
I know. I didn't mean to segue there, but it just I've been in it, so therefore it's still here. So I'm sorry for the segue.
We can understand it's important to prevent it happening again because it was catastrophic,
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
Texas got to figure out some stuff. They've got some things to figure out. And they will. I mean, I went through here with my when I got out of the hospital, the pipes were frozen up. So I called my nephew, who happens to work for the electric company, for what it's worth. He came over and he got down underneath the house and he said, I wonder if maybe it might be coming into the house that is frozen. And it was the water meter that was frozen up. Because I had been in the hospital and there hadn't been any water meter. He poured hot water on the water meter and opened it up. Well, me, like a dummy, I put it on Facebook that, well, wait a minute. They replaced my water meter last year and it had insulation in it and it doesn't have any anymore. And that irritated all the city workers because they thought I was complaining about them. So, you can't win. It's ridiculous. And we stuffed it full of, and so we went down and bought the insulation, stuffed the water meter full of insulation, and it endured the 23 below, and everything was fine. But that didn't matter. I irritated the city workers. So what can you say? That's my life.
I don't say much because you can't win, and so
yeah.
Well, that's kind of a.
I'm running for city council in the next election, so I let that figure out.
Well, before things get too late and too far gone, just to put it on your calendars that the next meeting will be on Tuesday, March 9th. Cool thing
Gosh,
about it now is just that with it not being a leap year and only 28 days, pretty much February mirrors March and March mirrors February. So I didn't need to flip my calendar for that one. But yeah, March 9th is our next meeting. So that's it. Because a lot of times we're scrambling like at like 10 or 9:59. So, oh my God, when's the next meeting? So there you go. Now I have it.
I have you guys booked every second and fourth Tuesday of every month for 2021 written in my calendar. So
Very nice.
depending on what's going on, I want to be, I wish I could be here for every single one. Doesn't always happen, but you guys are awesome. And I'm just glad to, you know, and it's lovely meeting new people as they pop in and out, and it's just lovely. So, and I was so tired before this. I told Jennifer, I said I might be there. I don't know, but I thought, you know what? It's good for the endorphins. It really is. It's good for your immune system. Have this connection, and I'm thank you for what you all do. You know, Frank, Kim, Dan, and Jennifer, Hannah, all the moderators, and Rick. It's great.
It's very nice to be with our people. And
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, we all may not know exactly what we're each going through, but we have a pretty good idea what we're all dealing with. And so that's why the support works.
Well, and the other thing, I mean, if you're new and everything, put your email in if you want to get like the announcement when the meetings are and everything and kicking off. Put your email in the little notes in the side there, so we have your email and we can get that in there.
And then if you have any questions or you want to reach out to us or, you know, stay in contact, because it's a good group, and so many of us are friends on Facebook, which is just a kind of an easy way to stay in touch, or on Twitter. Social media is something fierce in this world, but you know, just a way to stay in contact.
Because yeah, we've got the social media, but I see Frank, because we do have a forum here, correct?
That is correct. And
Yeah.
if you go to the forum, when you log on to the AnCan site, we can have our own little private, like a Facebook or like a communication just among us. The good doesn't go outside of this group. So,
and that way, if there's something that you wanted to talk about that you didn't want to talk about in front of everyone, or you just wanted to talk about privately, that's a way, you know, that we can stay in touch in the interim between meetings.
So that's directly on the web, on the email that I received?
Hannah just typed in the chat box. Do you know where that is, Karen?
Yes. Oh, it's a forum. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the main web page, in the upper right-hand corner is a white box that says forum. You can click on it.
It's in tiny lettering, but it's there.
I'll do it after, but I'll do it afterwards. So if I go to the email, or I'll type that. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
And the forum is live. There are a number of forums there, depending upon the disease.
Yeah, I saw that on the email, and I did click on the and by the way, it's easy to find that the email to, you know, for joining like this session that we're having right now. It's a hyperlink with, you know, so it's highlighted that you just click it. It says AnCan MS Forum, and I definitely suggest that we all try to start using that, because I think it'll be great. So you'll see it if you just look at the email and scroll kind of midway down, and you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of little print on the email.
And if you give us your email, I am making this oath to the 11 of us that are here right now. I am going to try and get something together so we can talk about bladder issues a program, something. So, you know, who pelvic specialist or physical therapist. But I think bladder issues and the medication, because there's so much available. So I will work on that with you, Rick. I promise.
So would that be different than this meeting?
Yeah, in the past we had a meeting, Karen. Like we had a meeting to talk about family and talking with your family about your multiple sclerosis. So it was at a different day and a different time, and that also was recorded. But just this would be a separate meeting where we could be more focused on the issue of bladder health.
It's like, yeah, like really a teleconference where we bring in
Thank
like
you, Dan.
experts and speakers and panel members and panelists and stuff talking about, and because I that's why I wrote Kathy's name down, because I'm thinking Kathy Reagan Young would be a great member of that panel. And so but yeah, actually Jennifer's doing it, unless I'm being voluntold that I will help her in making this happen.
He's my hand, so he gets to do that.
Yes. So
Bless his heart.
yeah, so we can do that. I think the other thing too, sort of related, not related,
Thank you,
in
Hannah.
addition and different, is don't forget then that March is MS Awareness Month. And so, and I believe then March 7th through the 13th, that's like officially MS Awareness Week. So if, you know, like social media, however you do it, and then on March 28th is Progressive MS Day.
Woo woo!
For all the people with the progressive MS and for everybody with it.
So what does that mean in terms of information or
more information, more awareness? You know, people that don't know much about multiple sclerosis, it gives us the reason to be like here, it's MS Awareness Month. Let me tell you more about the disease. And March 28th, there's a focus on more progressive forms of the disease. It's Progressive MS Day.
And
that's a Sunday. So
well, then maybe
and they may adjust it. I just know historically it's been on March 28th, but we'll get more information on that. It was a big thing. I think it started like a couple years ago, and that was started through with partners and with Genentech kind of took the lead on that. But we'll post some, you know what, we'll post something in the forum about that because they'll have more information on it.
Just March is a good month to get more awareness about multiple sclerosis and hopefully to connect more of us like more often.
Yep.
Well, when I was in Southern California, we went on a kick to get all the cities to make MS Awareness Week declarations and to get the city councils to declare it to be MS Awareness Week for that particular week. And we got 50 cities to do that.
Nice.
1 year.
Nice.
And the MS Society will provide a declaration or an example if you want to do that with your local city. It's a great way to get awareness out there. And besides that,
I haven't found. I mean, even my doctor, even my neurologist, who's connected, who trained at UCSF and primary progressive. It's like, I just found some webinar. That's something that happened last year in Europe, and it's just the same story. People with primary progressive, they're not recognized. They feel like they're at a loss. We need to do better, but I haven't seen anything better. Like I haven't seen.
Well,
I just haven't seen it. I mean, even my doctor, just people don't get it.
Karen, let me play with that. Let me play with that just a little bit. I got an idea. I have an idea. We'll make a statement up, and we'll get it out there and get it spread around, and you might be surprised what we can pull off.
All right, because when I got diagnosed in 2019, the MS Society had a sheet, like a fact sheet, and I've given it to all my providers. I've even gone to a workshop with the MS Society, and I said, look, this was a conference, a historical conference that took place in 2010, and there's an article, saying exactly how I feel. So the last time I called the MS Society, which is quite a while ago, and I said, are you aware, because all I ever hear is, are you aware of Ocrevus? And I'm like, yeah, are you aware that it's not likely to help me, somebody my age with my disease? And then I said, are you aware of this article from the MS Society? And they all go, no. And it's like, it's just the only thing they did was bury it. That was just the most depressing thing to me. It's like, okay, we didn't honor our word, so let's just bury it and pretend it never happened. So that's my experience. Because there's an article about this historic conference that took place about progressive MS. So I would like to, see more about that.
Actually, there has been a lot of movement in the progressive MS community in the last 5 years. A lot of things have changed. There are drugs now that 5 years ago, there was nothing for anybody with secondary or primary progressive MS. Absolutely zero. So it is getting better. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't kept up with everything that's out there. But there are now drugs for primary and secondary progressive
Not
MS.
if you're my age.
Oh,
Yeah, you can try it. I'm told, like, oh, you can try it. What do you have to lose? And it's like my immune system, like before COVID, but it's not likely to.
Well,
I
nothing's.
haven't heard anybody my age where it's actually going to work, so
Well,
it just makes me very suspect of the
I
doctors. The day I was diagnosed, I got sent home with papers. Do you want to take Ocrevus or Rituxan? I'm like, my God, I was told I don't have MS. Now I do have it. Then I was told I had cancer, but I don't have it. Now I got MS. My head was spinning. And, took some time with that question. And then I'm told, well, it's not really likely to help, but you could try it.
well,
Well,
help.
Karen, just to not to make this about me, but I feel really comfortable making this kind of. I take Rituxan, and I've been living with a more progressive form of multiple sclerosis, and I'm not saying that I haven't gotten worse, but I've been more significantly, like, I'm under control worse, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like I've gotten as progressed as much as if I hadn't taken Rituxan. That's my experience, but
My age.
I don't want to ask in front of everybody about age or anything like that, but I just want to say that there are choices out there, and hopefully something can help you. But certainly being with this group, I hope that helps.
Yeah, this has been, it's been really a frustration of mine with the few things that I did try to connect with, that everything's about relapse and remission. And it's like, well, that's not my reality. Or you have to be happy. You have to pretend like, oh, it's fine. You can't be negative. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the thing when they had the progressive MS day. I think it's, because there's something different. I have relapsing remitting, but I also have a wife with the secondary progressive, and I have friends with progressive disease, and it's like, just to where it's getting the attention, it's getting more attention than it has in the past. And I think that's just where, because that's the other thing too. It's just like, there's always the talk about for newly diagnosed, but then people who have had it for, 20 years, whatever. So like, sometimes you feel like you're being put out to pasture because they're not talking about, the veterans of sorts, but it's encouraging just where things are going with it. And so we'll find some resources and stuff just to, keep things out there. But I'll find whatever they're doing with Progressive MS Day this year, because that's a big deal. But and I'm not then making it about me, but just as long as we're talking about Ocrevus, and I had talked about it in the past. I got word today that Ann Arbor sent the paperwork and everything up to Mount Pleasant, and I talked with Mount Pleasant, and they are putting a rush on getting me my Ocrevus. So that's good news, because I mean, I haven't taken any I stopped taking the beta serin after it did a number on my leg, and so I haven't taken anything for a couple months. So that's progress. I have no idea what it's going to cost me, but it's like, it's kind of like a credit card. I'll just put it on a card, and I won't worry about it till I have to pay the bill. Then
$65,000. I know when I asked for a second opinion, and I'm like, well, I don't know if anybody's old enough to know this, but it's like I wrote this big thing. It's like, first it was this, then blah, 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 blah. And then I said, I just want to get a second opinion. It's the $65,000 question, because that's what it costs. It's like,
yeah.
So I just want to say on that score, and maybe Elizabeth will talk for a moment, that we really like the Roche companies, because we really feel that they are patient oriented and they really do their best to help out patients. It's not all about the money. Yes, the money is there, but they really are committed to patients. You've got two people in this group who were Ocrevus poster people, and last meeting, Elizabeth had issues trying to get her Ocrevus because she was out of state. And she told me today that she's worked with Genentech and they're going to get her the Ocrevus. So if you don't have insurance and if you are looking for help, Genentech has a lot of mechanisms in place to help you. Elizabeth, you want to just...
Yes, I'd love to share, because at first I didn't even look into the Genentech Foundation at first, because I assumed that my husband and I made too much money to qualify. But for the Genentech Foundation for Ocrevus, the limit, if you have 4 people in your household, is $150,000 yearly gross salary or net salary and under. And so, I was, because I had been working so hard on trying to, my insurance had approved it and said, okay, because of the pandemic, you can get it. But then they were like, no, you're only 2 weeks late. You can wait till you come back to California. And so that day when I got that news, it was supposed to be, I was going to have the neurologist send in a document saying that it was a medical necessity, and everything was supposed to be fine. And then the infusion center called and said, oh, they denied it. And I broke down, because I wasn't expecting it after I had gotten positive feedback that yes, this will go through. But it took some work, and it took working with the patient navigators with Genentech. But what's nice is that you are on a team. You have a team assigned to you of about 4 people. So when you're calling, you're speaking to the same people rather than being passed on to different people. That was what was so frustrating with the insurance, was I'd have to explain myself over and over and over again. But I'm going to be getting the medication from the Genentech Foundation. They're going to send it. It's covered. It doesn't cover administrative costs, but luckily I contacted the infusion center and they just do Medicaid prices for the infusion costs, so it's very affordable. And so it's been a really big relief after working on this for 2 months. I'm about a month late getting my infusion, and it's been a little worrying being
customer service
separated from my neurologist in my MS specialist in California, who I really love. But I chose to come here because my kids to have a good experience, and I wanted to stay safe, and I wanted to, you know, I didn't know how I would react to COVID if I got it, so I couldn't send them to school. And so instead of staying home every day and doing, you know, keeping them home with me in California and just keeping them insulated like I was having to do over the summer, and since March, they're able to go on hikes. My parents, who are retired professors, are teaching them, and my brother's teaching my daughter how to play violin because he knows how to play. And so it's nice to be able to take care of myself and have my kids taken care of at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying, as far as the patient assist foundations through the drug companies, that's something that I see this on social media all the time. People just don't know, and their doctors don't always tell them, their insurance companies don't always tell them. It's like, you've got to know, okay, whatever drug that you're taking, there's a pharmaceutical company, obviously, that makes that drug. And so, like, for the one that I'm going to start, Kesimpta, that's manufactured by Novartis. Just like Ocrevus, Novartis has their patient assistance foundation, and same thing. You have the same people that know you. They know what your situation is. You know, to call 24/7 if you need to, and it takes a while to get yourself approved as far as your financial income, your how many people live in your household. See, because it didn't used to be that way, to where even when I was married and my husband had an income, they didn't ask about his income. But now they're looking at the entire household. And it used to be just like, what is your income? And so it's interesting that they've changed that a little bit. And I guess I can kind of understand why. But then again, it's kind of bothersome because these drugs they're so friggin' expensive. It's you just got to stay on top of them and just know that each and every drug, they've got their patient assist foundations to help out with grants.
Let me come back to that, but before Leslie leaves, she's gonna leave. I want to tell you, I want to come back to the singing that you were talking about.
Yes, I'm listening.
Because we have some exciting news that we're not quite ready to share because Jackie sent me the web page today and I haven't had time to go through it yet. But Karen, you'll probably be familiar with the Marsh. Do you know the Marsh?
Yeah.
Right. So the Marsh.
Well, there's a wonderful person tomorrow performing.
So the Marsh is a theater company in the Bay Area, in San Francisco and Oakland. They have 2 theaters. And we are going to start a collaboration, a partnership with the Marsh starting in March, where once a month we're going to participate in a program they have called Solo Arts Heal, the Marsh Solo Arts Heal, which Karen may even have seen some performers in this.
Yeah, I do. I've known some of the people from that.
And you've known some of the people. Okay, so they have
it's wonderful. They have stuff all the time, every night practically.
Right.
But
so the Solo Arts Heal is that they have somebody perform who lives with a certain condition, and then the host talks to the performer. First of all, the performer performs for about 15 minutes, and then the host interviews the performer, and then the audience talks to the performer, and this all takes place on Zoom. And we are launching with them on March 24th, and we will need at some point soon somebody from your MS community, or more than one person from your MS community, to be a performer, because we've told the Marsh that we will do our best to try and source our performers once a month. Now, we have told them we can't guarantee that, but I'm relying on you guys. So, Kim can get up and do her 15 minutes of patter. Oh, that made her eyes open. I saw that. but the marshes.
If they want me to talk about sex for 15 minutes, I can do that. Anything else? No.
I'm not kidding. We need, so you can sing, you can dance, you
Oh,
can
I can't
do any
sing.
type of performance, and we are looking for performers. We've got 2 lined up, but they're both prostate cancer guys, and we can't have just prostate cancer guys. So we need performers. So Karen, that singing voice sounded good to me. Can you do 15 minutes?
I
I mean, it has to be related to the disease. I've done solo performance things. You know, I have done stuff like that, and I'm not
Okay.
shy about singing. But
No, it doesn't have
in
to
the
be
chat
related.
though about the marsh, because tomorrow night I've seen a lot of their shows, and it's like I think my favorite. It's hard to say my favorite, you know, but maybe I have like 3 favorites, and this is definitely one of the 3 favorites. Tomorrow night is her last name is Barnes, and she did an amazing show called My Stroke of Luck, and it was just she's a physician. It's just if you can catch it.
Okay, well, I will
Is it
try.
Marsh Choir? What is
No,
it
it's like
under?
the Marsh Theater, San Francisco. It'll pretty much say San Francisco, even though it happens in Berkeley. But the Marsh
Marsh.
And
Yeah.
you know, some things are hit and miss, some things are really great. But I saw this, My Stroke of Luck. She's going to be on tomorrow, and I have to sing tomorrow with my chorus, so I'm probably going to miss it. But I saw her show. I totally recommend it.
Okay, well, you can bring in your chorus. We'll have your chorus, and then we can talk to you about how it doesn't have to be related to MS, but what it does relate to is how the singing may help you with your MS, may help you deal with your MS.
I know my
So
psychologist said I do a lot of stuff with music, and my psychologist said, "Okay," I said, "You got any wise words for me?" Because I was in a funk, and she's like, "Find more music camps." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that."
there you go. Well, listen, it's a great place to showcase talents. So anything out of South Texas? By the way, Hannah, are you okay? And did you get hammered? I know Alexa got hammered, so you must have gotten hammered.
Yes,
Bye,
yes,
Leslie.
definitely. Oh, bye, Leslie. Um, I've seen more snow in the past week than I have in my life, my whole life, and I I was fortunate enough to only lost water for a little bit, but the power and the internet kept going off and on all week. But everything is good. I I had places I could have gone to if I needed to, so that was nice. And my pufferfish is alive, so good week.
Great, great. We're glad you're doing well. I did put in the chat window the link to the webinar we did with Dr. Basta called The Talk, where people spoke to each other. And Karen, you might find that really interesting. It's definitely worth a listen. It's a live link, so if you just click on it, it'll open up in your browser. You can listen to it later. I love this idea about putting something together on incontinence issues and maybe even sexual dysfunction. I'm thinking that maybe Dr. Boster would like to be involved in that again this year. And we could ask him, and then we can bring in some urologists or a urologist, or I know we can find somebody because the MS folks are part of a patient group at the American Urological Association that I'm also part of. So I know we can put that together. And I just have to tell you that I am very empathetic because I suffer from issues as a result of having had a huge amount of radiation to my bowel for my prostate cancer. So I am truly empathetic about this, and we'll do it. I've got some dates in mind that we can work with Jen, and we'll be in touch, and we'll start working to put it together. I think it's a great idea, and I think we'll get a good response for it.
I noticed on one of the, I have a lot of cognitive, I mean, nobody would know. I mean, everybody says, oh, you look great, you sound great. You know, I can't tell. It's like, well, I can. Try to make an appointment with me. What did you say? What did you say? 1/3? Wait, 1/3? No, wait, did you say 2? Wait, is it on the 23rd? I know, wait. Okay, now you see it, all right? Now you see it. This is what I deal with all the time. Like now I'm going, okay, what was I going to mention? Like, with the cognitive. I forgot. See, I forgot where I was going. But
You're not alone, Karen. Not at
yeah,
all.
You're
All
not
the time.
I know, but it's different. You guys get it, you know, because I'll be 70 this year. And so, you know, my friends are on this side and that side of it, and they're like, oh, I have the same thing. And it's like, no, it's not the same thing.
It's not. It's not. You're exactly right.
Not.
By the way, Karen, you look great for being
Thank
almost
you.
70.
Yeah.
You look
I know,
fat.
don't you hate hearing that?
You know what my aunt would say. Her kids' friends would come over and they say, "Oh, you look so good. I hope I look that good when I'm your age." And she'd say, "You don't look that as good as me now."
I like it.
Turning 70 this year must be an in thing, Karen. I'm doing the same thing.
Wow.
I wanted to ask you, Karen, or anybody really, something cognitive wise used to happen to me all the time, and thankfully I don't experience it anymore. But it used to be a huge problem with me, and it would be where somebody would be talking to me, and I would be trying my hardest, so hard, to concentrate on what they're saying, listen to them, and when they were speaking, it would be almost as if they were saying "rah, rah, 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 rah," because I couldn't. I would literally just be hearing noises, and I couldn't make sense of the noises at all. So I call it the Charlie Brown effect because it kind of sounded like the teacher from Charlie Brown. But I just didn't know. Like Gina, I don't know if you've had anything like that. It's just a funny thing that I like to tell people, because people really don't understand sometimes what can happen to us. It can be crazy. It can be crazy things like that.
It's like I call it it's sensory overload. It's like even when the thoughts are in our brain that we want to say to people, whether it be like right now, it's like everything's here, but by the time it reaches our mouth to come out, it goes either nowhere or it goes over here, or then I change topics over here, and then you end up I call it's like verbal word vomit. It just kind of, you're trying to kind of find where you were, and then you realize, okay, I'm not making sense. Where was I? Okay, then you kind of have to, and same thing when you're trying to absorb the information from somebody else that's speaking. I call it's sensory overload, and it's so frustrating. And it's fine when you're around, like my friends and my family. I'm very fortunate. I've got great people. I've they're starting to pretty much understand what's going on with me, and I'm not, crazy or whatever with the way I am. This, even when there's stuttering and stammering going on, they're used to it now, and they accept me. They understand, which makes me feel much better, and I don't have to, feel uncomfortable. But oh my gosh, there's so many people, and I don't go around to anybody and everybody that I talk to who doesn't have MS and have to over explain myself. If I do this or if I do that, then this is why. I just don't. But it's challenging. But yeah, Hannah, yeah, it's just, yeah, the wah 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 wah. It's,
Yeah,
yep.
it stopped me in my
Yeah,
tracks
that I
sometimes.
haven't had. I haven't had, but I figured out that I used to be a genius. Because now I have about 65%, but I mean, I really say in New York, I used to be a fucking genius. Because
Used
now
to
I have
be.
about 65% of my brain, and people are like, you seem fine to me. And it's like, I didn't know I was so brilliant.
You sound pretty.
If
Well,
only
like,
I knew
I'll just curse
back
with you.
then.
You sound pretty fucking brilliant to me, Karen. So you give
Well,
yourself.
that's what I'm saying. And I got 65%. So, I mean, what a wasted life that, people didn't know. I have a technical question to Rick because I'm putting this in my calendar. And of course, it says, well, I use 24-hour clock. but it says, I'm just going to go 24-hour clock because it works for me. But it says 2030. And then I was like, no, I better put it in at 17:30 because it's my time. So then I just put in 17:30 for the following ones and putting it in at 1:30, So I don't know. Is it from your end? I put it in, I went into my calendar and it's putting in
I
your
think it works.
time, but my time is different. Oh, well.
I think it works because we put it in at, we use Eastern time. I'm not on Eastern time. I'm actually on Arizona time. But we do put it in, and I do believe it works. So it should
I mean,
register.
Google knows, so I shouldn't try to correct it. I was correcting Google, and then it was correcting my correction.
Yeah, I mean, we have it in. We have it in. I know it's set in on the website at the right time. I think it is anyway. If not, we'll get back to our web administrator, who happens to be an MS person as well, Jackie.
No, your web thing was correct. It's my Google, so never mind. I'll figure it out. It's my Google. It's behaving.
So let me just check. No, I remember Gina signing up, so I know you're in our database. Gina. Karen, are you in our database?
No, because I discovered this at 4 in the morning. Yesterday at 4 in the morning, I don't know where it linked from.
So all you need to do is go to AnCan.org and click on the contact us, and you'll be able to enter yourself and select the only group I suspect you're going to be interested in is the MS group. So just click that, and you can click webinars if you like, but if we do an MS webinar, we'll make sure it goes out. All the MS people are notified on that. Okay. Alternatively, you can send me your email at rd@ancan.org and I'll enter you. But
well, I have it on I only have one hand. This hand's paralyzed, so I've been copying and sticking things on a Word doc because I don't know how to save the chat here. But
okay.
It feels like I don't think I need to save it because I already saved what I wanted to.
Your chat is saved for you automatically.
Where?
It's in. Are you on a PC or are you on a Mac?
I'm on a PC.
Okay, so if you go to Documents afterwards and you look in Documents under, it'll be there under. I'll tell you what. It'll be there under Chat Log. Go to Webinar. And it'll say chat log AnCan. It'll say chat log AnCan Barniscus room, and it'll be all saved as a Word document.
Okay.
Okay, it's automatically saved, so you can recover everything there. All right, guys.
Thanks so much.
You can have the room as long as you like. This is my 4th meeting, so I've got to go feed myself. It was lovely to see all of you. Elizabeth, please drop a note to Jen when you have a moment.
Okay, I will.
Just to tell her, and that's good for us, and it'll be good. You never know when you might need Jen in the future as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. I'm happy for all of you. Dan and Jen will speak very soon. Okay. And
all right, we'll see you, Rick.
This is the first meeting I've been in from start to finish where I have not heard the word Springsteen.
Hey, wait a minute. That commercial was filmed. That commercial was filmed 40 miles from here, and I didn't know.
Wow.
If Dan would have known that, we would have been in Kansas.
I would have said, Frank, I'm going to come down. We're going to come and see you because Springsteen's going to be 40 minutes from your house. Yeah, I knew nothing about it until
you had to say it, Rick. You had to say it, right? And now this is the first meeting I've been in.
I had to blow it, right?
This is the first one, although I think someone did say it, is nobody said, "You're muted. You're muted. We can't hear you. You're muted."
All right, guys, I'm leaving. I'll leave you to just close the room down when you're done, and I'll send you the link as soon as it gets posted. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 All right, then I'm going to stop the recording in 3, 2,